Former US President Donald Trump is expected to voluntarily travel to New York early next week, where he'll be formally charged on the grand jury indictment. New York police officials are negotiating the logistics of the trip with Donald Trump's Secret Service detail. Sky News Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen has more.
Donald Trump will learn the exact charges against him along with the rest of the world when he's formally arraigned in a New York court early next week. Now, it's known that these charges do relate to this payment made to former porn star Stormy Daniels, around $130,000 in the lead up to the 2016 election. Now, there's nothing illegal about paying someone to not talk about something you'd rather they didn't. The question is about how the money was paid, how it was recorded, where it came from, and whether it violated any campaign financing regulations. What we will have is the normal processing of any defendant in this instance. So that means Donald Trump will have to have his fingerprints taken, a mugshot taken, and there will be a bail hearing, although it's unlikely that the district attorney or the judge would be looking at any kind of jail time for the president while he's waiting his trial, which could be as long as a year away. What this has done is put political pressure on both sides of politics. In particular, the White House has been pestered for a response to the indictment, as it is such an unprecedented moment in US history, the first president ever after leaving office to have a criminal conviction coming his way potentially, but a criminal charge at the very least. Joe Biden's been asked several times about whether he had any comment and has maintained that he won't intervene.
Are you worried this will further divide our country, the indictment?
I have no comment on that.
Mr. President. Possible protest in the wake of the indictment?
No, I'm not going to talk about Trump's indictment.
It's understood that one of the main witnesses has been Michael Cohen. Now, he's the former personal lawyer of Donald Trump, a former strong ally who's gone completely the other way. He's been a harsh critic of the former president. Now, one of the concerns here is his own credibility. He's had his own brushes with the law, including convictions of his own, but he says that none of this is around any kind of personal vendetta. It's making sure that the law is adhered to.
He is not thick-skinned. He's actually very thin-skinned, and he has a very fragile ego. This is his biggest fear, that he will be mugshotted and that, he's going to now have an F, a felony, next to his name. These are not things that Donald Trump ever thought in his entire life, nor I, for that matter, that he would ever be confronted with.
And now one of the major issues has become logistics. New York City police have been discussing how to get the former president from his home in Florida to New York with the Secret Service. There's discussions about potentially having to shut down the court complex to process Donald Trump's case when he arrives on Tuesday afternoon, as anticipated. There's also concerns about potential protesters arriving, although there haven't been groups of protesters since Donald Trump announced last week that he anticipated being arrested. But Donald Trump does seem keen to go in a voluntary capacity. He said he won't require any kind of extradition and he'll appear in court to defend his name. Annalise Nielsen, Sky News, Washington, DC.